Hi there, welcome back with another episode with Mr. Automation. And today we're going to discuss some shells and how to combine some shells like Python, Bash, and PowerShell inside of a container. So we're going to use Docker Desktop. We're going to create some containers and or container, and then going to create one container with different shells inside of it. So you can run your Python, your Bash, or your PowerShell code from there. So without any further delay, let's start.
Okay, and here we actually, in the code editor, we have a Docker file. And the first line, we take the PowerShell latest image from the Microsoft container repository. On the second line, we run the PowerShell command. First, let's build the container. We do that like this. Now the container has been built, so basically we can run the container. And if we run the container, the PowerShell shell will be launched. So let's run it. And as you can see, we have a PowerShell shell there. And we can do some directory listings. We can do a who am I? I'm the root user currently. And as you can see, get process works and get child item as well. And that's it. Yes, let's go to the Docker desktop and have a look at the containers running there. As you can see, our PowerShell container is running there. You can even see the commands that we executed there, the directory listing and such. And as you can see there, it's now started. Let's go back to the container here and exit the PowerShell and also the container. Go back to the Docker desktop and confirm that the container indeed has been shut down. And it has, as you can see. So that's our PowerShell container running. Let's copy this script that you see on the screen here over to the container or to the image. Let's do that by like this. Copy that file over. Exactly like I mentioned here. Let's see how that works, right? Now we build the container again. We'll run it again. And if you do directory listing inside the scripts folder, you can see the run me script file there, the PowerShell file. And as you can see, it's doing some heavy loading. And there you see the output. So that was the PowerShell script running from a container. And basically now we're going to trigger it whenever the container starts, not just the shell, but also the script, as you can see here in the command. So we don't need to run it ourselves. We can just specify it there. If we now exit the container and we compile the container again, like this, then we run the container again. As you can see, doing heavy loads. So now this script is running there. As you can see in Docker there, there's a container there running, and now it's closed, shut down, and that makes sense because the script is done, then the container also stops. So that's an example with PowerShell. Let's try if we can extend this with some more functionality, like adding Python, perhaps support for Python, right? So let's have a look at that, on how that works. So first we need to install some binaries, Python specifically, and pip. And then we run some clean commands, but those are not really required. These ones are, because then we install the Python binaries, Python 3 binaries. And we will change this as well. But for now, we just leave it on Bash, so we can examine a little bit inside of the container when we spin it up. But first compile it again. And then run the container again. We compiled it, now we run it. And now we're inside of the container in a bash shell. As you can see, we are root, we can run the PowerShell still there. But we also have Python now, as you can see, right? So we also have Python inside of the container. So we can use 3 shells basically there: PowerShell, Bash, and also Python. So we have support for Python now, so we can run Python programs and that and such. And let's do that. Let's create a Python file, right? Simple script file. Let's create a new file. Runme.py. Our fantastic script. We'll do some magic. Exactly. Let's also mention that it started perhaps and stopped. Yeah, exactly. Do it like that. So now we have the py file. Let's close some windows here. Hang on. Let's go to the Docker file. Let's copy that that file over as well, right? Inside of the image. Let's copy the py file as well. And change that here that we want to run Python instead of PowerShell, and our runme.py file. We want to run that, and I think I made a mistake here. Yeah, exactly. I made a typo there. And here I forgot to mention the py file. Yes, exactly. So that looks better. So let's now recompile the container. Let's exit here first. Yeah, building the container again, or the image. I mean, keep saying container, but it's an image. And then we spin up a container based on that image, right? And now our fantastic Python program started and completed, and I commented out the sleep timer. So let's do that again. Let's recompile the container quickly. And then let's run it again. My fantastic program started, then it sleeps 5 seconds, and then our fantastic program completed. That's our Python support inside of a container. If you want to run the PowerShell script again, you can specify it like that, right? If you now build the container again, it will run the PowerShell script instead of the Python scripts. Let's give it a different names as well. I give the container now shells. I gave it the name shells, as you can see here. Let's run it. And now we're doing heavy loads. We're running our PowerShell script again in the container. And now also let's add a bash script. Very simple, because that runs out of the box in Linux, of course. Let's create a fantastic bash script here. Let's also mention that it started and stopped. We're not going to sleep this time. You trust me that it works, right? So let's copy that shell file over as well to the image. So let's change that to shell and this as well. Exactly. And then we're going to run bash and with the shell file. And now we're going to recompile the container again. We're going to build it again. Or the image. I mean, I keep saying container, it's image. Then after the build, we're going to deploy a container based on that image, like this. And that will run our bash script inside of the container. So that's basically it. How can you combine all those shells inside of one container? It's very convenient. You can run different scripts and those kind of things. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, okay, and thanks for watching. I made this video on purpose, but basically not for developers, because those are different kinds of audience, I would say, This, this is more for like the sys administrators, right? That want to run some scripts here and there, and perhaps they want to use a containerized approach one day or perhaps today, you never know. And yeah, this video could help, right? I demonstrated that you can run a couple types of scripts like PowerShell, Python, and bash scripting, all from one single container, one image. And yeah, that was it. So thanks for watching, and see you again. Bye-bye.